Hi, how are you doing? My name is Alex. I'm with Sheen magazine. So we just get into it. From this film, we talked a lot about race and things of that sort in Master. So I want to know, when was the first time you experienced a culture shock when you realized, like, oh, okay, like this is not my people. This is a little different.
That's a great question. I think that it's really an ongoing thing. I'm not sure that I could even point to a specific moment in time when I experienced a culture shock, because it's the sort of thing that almost creeps up on you. And I think that that's part of what can be so terrifying about it, is that, as it doesn't present itself in front of you. It sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was really young. I was in probably maybe second grade. And I remember I was on the playground and, kids go into school looking one way and come out looking completely different. And
Yeah.
on the playground, and a little boy asked me, why does your hair look like that? And I was, chilling, living my life. And I think that was the first time that I asked my mom. I went home and I was just curious, like, why does my hair look like this? And, is it good or is it, that's a journey, of course, that I had to go on and continue to go on. But I do remember that being the first time that I was even aware of me being a little bit different, from the kids I went to school with.
With this movie, it was a lot of abnormal things happening. Not to just give it away, but I guess when I was watching the film, I was trying to figure out, like, was this stuff only happening to the Black people on campus, or was this just happening in general on campus? I was trying to figure it out. So, if as a viewer, could you explain a little bit about that?
I think that in the film, as far as the supernatural and the hauntings, the way that we see it and the way that it unfolds, they're primarily, happening to Jasmine specifically. And she is really the character who's on the receiving end of almost all of them, until a little bit later in the film when Gail also begins to experience it as well. And so, I think as far as the other students, clearly, there's this legend of the witch and there's this belief in it, but it's not taken totally seriously, but it's something that in one way or another has existed in the school's history for, what seems like many years.
Yeah. So that's why I guess, since everybody knew about it, but we didn't really see other people experiencing, that's what it was just like the thin line. I'm like, okay, is it just a Black thing, or it's just so in this movie, your character, she went to school with, other white people, and when she had got bad grades, and not to give everything away, when she, experienced bad grades for the first time ever in her life, and, when she went to her professor that was supposed to be the same color as her, she kind of was like, I know it's, different for Black people. It was kind of like a culture shock, like,
Right.
Excuse me. Have you ever experienced that? Like, what was your first time you ever experienced a culture shock? Where, okay, these not my people. This
Right. Gosh, that's a great question. I feel like there's so many different times where I'm looking around the room and I'm like, I don't know if I'm as safe as I want to be in this situation, And I think that that's what we see in Master, right? Like it's both. It's such a layered movie, because we also see the distrust between who we think we can count on, and their own traumas and pain and history getting in the way of the relationship that really needs to be protection, and can sometimes look like more self-protection or distance, as we see with Gail and Jasmine. And then I guess with Jasmine's friends, her wanting so badly to be in this specific group, and they just don't get her, like they just don't get her, and she doesn't realize that. Like, maybe that's just their humor, but she struggles to find that safety, and that for me is such a tricky place to be. I know, like, feeling unsafe is terrible, and I think we can see that through Jasmine and Gail throughout the movie.
Yes, if you could compare it to a song, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Probably something from oh, This Is America. Childish Gambino. Yeah.
That
Childish
is a good
Gambino.
one.
Yeah, This Is America. I think I probably answer. That would be my answer.
What would you want people to take away from this film?
I am happy to let viewers take from the film what they will. You know, I think as a director and as a writer, for me, what's compelling is not trying to lead viewers to a certain conclusion. I try to, you know, discuss what's meaningful to me and what's interesting to me, and then give them the opportunity to draw their conclusions from what's presented in the film. So, you know, the kinds of films I love are always a little bit open-ended and have, you know, some amount of ambiguity, because for me, that's what real life is like. You know, conclusions don't come very easily.
No, I agree with that. That was my time. I appreciate you speaking with me.
All right.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks so much,
Bye.
Alex.